Hey everyone, it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and I am going to revive a very old classic for you, something that in the medieval era all the way to colonial times and heading into the 19th century was very, very popular, but died away with the introduction of the Industrial Revolution. Of course, this actually really common dessert was loved by the upper class, was loved by the middle class, and it basically was a staple as a common dessert, or even after supper or even during supper they had it. What's interesting, the medical field at that time actually praised it for being one of the best things to give sick children and adults in hospitals. It was actually the staple in the hospitals. It was basically prescribed. If you were sick, you ate this. And I am going to show you how to do it. Now, to the modern era where we are now, it is basically unheard of. I mention it and people are like, well, what is that? And I actually found out about this when I was talking with my grandma on my husband's side, and she said, yeah, you know, my mom used to make this all the time, and she was 96 years old, so she was born in the early 1900s, and she raved over it. And she hadn't had it for years, and she wondered if I could figure out how to make it. Now, you probably are wondering, what is this? And this is Junket. And like I said, it was used in hospitals. It is so easy to digest. And let me tell you, when you scoop it on a really hot day, it has this complete cooling effect onto your body. It is unbelievable delicious, easy to digest. My kids love it. I love it. Man, I can eat this every single day. The best part is it is so super easy to make. I mean, we're talking only a couple of ingredients. So you can make this using raw milk. You can make this using pasteurized milk. Make sure you don't use any ultra pasteurized milk. I'm using raw milk today because we do have milk cows, but I will tell you how to do this using pasteurized milk, as there is an extra step when you do that, so you can actually digest that milk nice and easy. So with that being said, it is also National Dairy Month. June is National Dairy Month. And so I'm in collaboration with two other YouTube channels, The Inquisitive Farm Wife and the Mennonite Farmhouse. There is also dozens of other YouTube channels in this collaboration, and we are posting once a day a video that teaches you to do something with dairy. So definitely check out the description box below. There is a list of all the channels that are in this collaboration. Beside it is a number, and that's actually the day that that channel is posting. You can also see the hashtag June is Dairy Month 2023, so you can check that out as well. There is also prizes to be won, which is awesome. So all you have to do to enter that prize is giving me a heartfelt comment. That's it. Under this video, just say something and you will be entered into it. Now, that's not just my video. So any video from a YouTuber within this collaboration, if you say something nice, you will get entered into the draw. There is more information in the description box below, as that draw will be happening July 5th on a live stream. So definitely, again, all the information is in the description box below. Check that out. So let's get right into making some junket. I'm going to make two flavors for you today. It is going to be vanilla junket and spice junket. I am also going to elevate the junket in a few fancier bowls just so you can see how I would serve it to my kids or keep it really simple. Or let's say you got company and you just want to elevate it a little bit. I will show you how to do that. So without further ado, let's dive right into this and have some fun making junket. Now what I have here is a pot and some milk. Now I have a gallon of milk here that is right fresh. There's actually a beautiful cream line on here. I'm going to use full fat milk. Traditionally, junket was made with all cream, but that gets pretty rich. So I'm just going to use full fat milk so that way it is nice and creamy. What I'm going to do is measure out 12 cups of milk and I'm going to put it in the pot. Once I have the milk heated, then I'm going to separate the milk into two different pots because I'm making two different recipes. But the initial heating up, I'm just going to go ahead and heat it up all at once. I'm just going to whisk my cream and my milk together. So this is a 4-cup measuring cup. So just bear with me for a moment while I measure out. Now that that is all measured, let's head to the stove and warm up our milk. Now what you want to do is put this on medium to low heat and you just are looking at warming up this milk. You don't want to reach it to a boil. You don't want to kill the natural bacteria and the enzymes and all the goodness in this raw milk. You should have a thermometer right here just to make sure that you keep temp, and you want to raise the temperature to 90 Fahrenheit, no warmer than 90 Fahrenheit. Now if you would have just milked the cow, and let's say you strained your milk and you can actually use that milk right from the cow. Traditionally, they actually just milked the cow, strain it, and made junket right away because the milk was at the perfect temperature. But mine was in the fridge, so I am going to have to heat it up to 90 Fahrenheit. You would do the exact same thing if you were dealing with pasteurized milk. Heat it up to 90 Fahrenheit. Make sure when you do take temperature, you always give it a good whisk and then take the temperature of the milk, so therefore you don't have any hot or cold pockets. So this will take about 5 minutes and then we will get to the next step. Now that my milk has reached 90 Fahrenheit, let's take it back to the table. Now that I have this at 90 Fahrenheit, the next step is going to change whether you're dealing with raw milk or whether you are dealing with pasteurized milk. So if you're dealing with raw milk, the next step you don't got to worry about. If you're dealing with pasteurized milk, because they've already pasteurized this, he warmed it up, but really there's no cultures left in it at all. We want to add some cultures back in. That's where you want to add in a mesophilic culture, which is your buttermilk culture. Now I make my own buttermilk culture, which I reculture all the time because I hate buying cheese cultures all the time. So this is my mesophilic culture that I use for my cheddar cheese, for any soft cheeses. So if you take a look, it's scoopable. This is your mesophilic culture. It's beautiful. It sets at room temperature, and this is what you want to use. So let's say you don't have this culture, or you want to ask, where do I get it from? You can actually purchase this culture through our website at everything-homemade.com, and I show you step by step on how to make this culture. I got video, I have free ebooks on there on taking you to every step you need on how to get your culture to what you just saw, and then how to reculture it and have it forever. So this really eliminates having to buy cheese culture constantly. If you are wondering about your thermophilic cheese making culture, I actually sell a Greek yogurt, which is also your thermophilic cheese making culture for all those delicious hard cheeses. Again, you can reculture this. So I just keep these two cultures going, and I've got culture for whatever cheese I'm making. So you can definitely check out our website. I do worldwide shipping with these cultures, and you can also have the simplicity of having your own cheese making culture all the time and readily available because you can reculture it. What you need to do is you need to take some of this mesophilic culture and add it to your milk. I have 12 cups of milk there, so you need to add in 1 tablespoon per 4 cups. So that would make this 3 tablespoons. So once again, 1 tablespoon per 4 cups. And then you need to just put a lid over your pot and just let it sit there for about an hour and a half, and that will reculture it. So I'm not going to do that today because I'm dealing with raw milk, but if you do need to do this, make sure you add this in, whisk it up really good so it's nice and smooth, so the culture, there's no lumps, and just let it sit for an hour and a half on your counter, and then get back to the next step that I'm going to show you. So now that your milk is at 90 Fahrenheit, or that your pasteurized milk is cultured, we are going to do this next step. Now, I told you I'm going to do 2 different recipes, so I'm going to split my milk right now, where I'm going to put 4 cups into one of my pots, and I'm going to keep the other 8 cups in the existing. I'm going to do a little bit more vanilla junket than I am going to do my spice junket, because I want to show you a little bit of a fancier dessert, and I would like to use the vanilla junket to do that with. So I'm going to take 4 cups off. You don't have to make different flavors. You can make this all one flavor. Everything is proportional here, so whatever I tell you for 4 cups, you can definitely just figure it out for a larger volume. It is so easy to make large volumes or decrease the volume with junket. Okay, so now that we got 4 cups here, I'm just going to put it into this pot. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do the spice one first, and then I'm going to do the vanilla one. So with the spice one, you want to add in your spices first. So I love cinnamon. Oh man, I am called the cinnamon-aholic. I love cinnamon so much. So I'm going to add in a teaspoon of cinnamon here. I'm just going to put that right on top. And then I'm going to grate in a little bit of fresh nutmeg. It's going to be about a half a teaspoon. I'm going to grate in for the nutmeg. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of ground cloves. Like, I mean a little bit, you guys. Ground cloves are very strong. So I mean, I'm talking just a little bit. Look at that. Like literally a pinch, okay? Just a little bit. So this next ingredients you can either omit or you can add it in. It totally depends on you, is sweetening this up a little bit. Now you don't want it really, really sweet, but junket traditionally was a bit on the sweeter side, but not really crazy sweet. So you can add in into this, let's say, a tablespoon of liquid honey. You can add in a tablespoon of maple syrup or other sweeteners if you would like. You can also add in a little bit of stevia extract. Now I make my own stevia extract and I show you how to do that in another video, which you will see right here. It will also be in the description box below. But I take you step by step on how to do this. This is a water-based stevia. So it's just stevia and water, and I'll show you how to make this delicious stevia. I also have a cookbook which will show you how to use this stevia extract. 160 plus recipes, muffins, cakes, cookies. It's also gluten-free cooking and whole wheat cooking, so I got the best of both worlds in there. If you're interested in that, all of this is on our website, everything-homemade.com. I'm going to be using some stevia because we did transition our house all to stevia, so that's what I'm going to be using today. So I am going to be using a half a teaspoon of stevia just to give it that little bit of sweetness throughout it. Once again, if you're using honey or maple syrup, well, you want to use a tablespoon. And then I'm just going to whisk this up. The next ingredient you want to use is rennet. Once I put in the rennet into this, it is going to set up extremely fast, so you need to be prepared. So at this time, I usually just set my pot aside, and I have these really nifty containers. They were actually, I actually used them for baby food when my kids were young. They're called take and toss, but they have a lid, they seal really good, and they fit 1 cup. So it's a perfect measurement because I like to put these in the fridge so my kids can just like grab a container and go and eat it. So I am going to just get my containers ready. I'm going to get the lids ready. And I always have an extra because I'm going to add in rennet, which I'm going to increase the amount. Plus I'm going to add a little bit of water to mix that. So I always take 5 containers. And so now I get my pot and let's add some rennet. Now, if you're new to cheese making, you can't just add rennet straight into your milk. You want to put it into something and dilute it a little bit with water and then put it in and then really whisk it. That way the rennet just doesn't touch the top and instantaneously starts setting. So this is really important, this step. Do not just skip it. With rennet, you're going to have to read the instructions on your bottle. I have liquid rennet here. I am going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon of rennet per 4 cups of milk. That may change with yours or if you're using tablets. So definitely check that out. You've got to read the instructions here and the proportions it gives. Follow that. So I have my 1/4 of a teaspoon of rennet. I'm just going to add in about a tablespoon of water. This has to be either room temperature or cold water, never hot. I just give it a little swirl, mix it up. In this case, you really want to make sure that you can pour out of your pot nice and neat, or to be able to transfer it into a measuring cup to pour into your containers or ladle it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take my rennet, put it in, whisk it up really, really well. And then I'm going to pour it into my containers. Kind of wait till it stops swirling there. There we go. Now at the very end, I usually give my pot a little bit of a swirl because some of the spices like to settle to the bottom. That way the very last one has an even amount, and I will just pour this one. The next step is taking your lids and just placing the lids on them. Now it's really important that you don't shake these or bump them. What you want to do is set them aside somewhere where they can sit at room temperature for 30 minutes, and then they will be set, and then we'll move them into the fridge. So that's the first flavor done. Now that we have our spice junket setting, let's do the vanilla junket. We are going to put in 1 teaspoon. Now you need to really figure out how strong you like your vanilla. I like it at 1 teaspoon for the 8 cups, which means you would do a half a teaspoon for 4 cups. But if you want it a little stronger, then just add some more vanilla. No big deal. So I'm gonna add some vanilla in here. Now, if you want this to be sweeter, go ahead and add in either some stevia extract, some honey. You can add 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey, 1 to 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and 1 teaspoon of stevia, or no sweetener. I'm honestly gonna add in nothing because in my family, we don't think the vanilla one needs a little bit of sweetness. It is so delicious, just vanilla and the milk. So I'm just going to mix that about. Now what I'm going to do once again is I'm going to have some containers ready. I am also going to have 3 bowls here that I am going to showcase a little bit of a fancier dessert, so how to elevate this from just grabbing a container in the fridge and go and eat it to something you can serve to guests. With that being said, I need to do my rennet once more. Now you can just use the exact same stuff that you used before, but you need to obviously adjust your rennet amount. So I am looking at a half a teaspoon of rennet here. There we go. Once again, tablespoon of water, remember cold or at room temperature. Once again, before I put this in, make sure you have your containers ready. And I'm just going to get them ready here so I can push them forward after. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to use my ladle that I used just for the milk because it just touched the milk. It's not contaminated. And I'm just going to quickly ladle in my containers here, because this pot doesn't pour near as nice as the other pot. And I'm going to get them into my glass ones. Now when my milk level goes down, it's a little easier to pour. So there you have it, everything's poured. Now what we want to do is get these lids on. The one that I'm going to make as a dessert, I'm not going to worry about that because we're going to eat that pretty quick, If you wanted to, you could either put just a small plate over it while you had that half an hour of setting up at room temperature, or you could put some plastic wrap over, whatever the case is. You can definitely cover them. You can actually even see this setting up. Let's just take a closer look here. See, if I take this and just jiggle it a bit, you can actually see it. Now, I don't want to jiggle it too much, but you can see it starting to set. The biggest thing to remember, whatever you pour the Junket mixture into is what you're going to eat out of. So if you want a decorative, you know, a teacup or anything like that, you've got to pour it in there. Okay, so I have them all have lids on them. I'm going to set everything aside for 13 minutes at room temperature, and then I will be right back. So 30 minutes later, let's open one of these containers very carefully and take a look at that. Now I'm going to give it a little jiggle. You see that? Beautifully and perfectly set. So you need to have that nice jiggle. You can see some of the spices set up on the top, which just makes this absolutely looking beautiful. Now some of the vanilla ones, let's just give it a quick check. There you go. So there's the vanilla again. You got this beautiful little jiggle. And so these ones are done. So now all you need to do is, you know, obviously if you open them to check, put the lid back on. You don't want to take a spoon and check them, because if you take the spoon and scoop, it will release that waste. So once you start eating it or scooping, you got to finish it. So what I do is I just put the lids on, put it in the fridge, and let my kids have it, usually a bedtime snack, because since it's so busy in the summer, this is just a perfect snack before bed when my kids are like, Mom, I'm hungry! And they grab a Junket, eat it, because it's so refreshing and it is so easy to digest. So I always have a good stock in the fridge. Now, usually in the fridge, I like stacking them up about 3 high. That way they save some room. So with a dessert like this, I am going to just put it in the fridge for an hour, or I mean, I'm only doing it for an hour because I'm filming, but if you want to put it in the night before in the fridge and then decorate it in the morning, or decorate it, you know, 5 minutes before you serve, that's just fine. But the biggest thing is get it in the fridge if you like a cool dessert. If you want to eat Junket warm, you can definitely decorate it at room temperature and eat it. I prefer a cool dessert. Okay, now it's time to elevate this vanilla Junket. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make 3 different, I guess, toppings on each one to show you what you can do. Now remember, I may be using some Hascups, but you can really use strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, really whatever berry you've got on hand. Now these are gorgeous Hascups, freshly picked from our bushes here. So they're gonna be so succulent and delicious. Plus they're a little bit tart. When they're fresh like this, they've got a sweet tart flavor, which really just is absolutely delicious with the vanilla Junket. And then I've got a little bit of peppermint. Now this is just the beginning of our growing season, so these little peppermint leaves are so cute and small, but that's all we need. We just want a hint of peppermint flavor. And then I've got some beautiful chocolate sauce to go on top. So whatever chocolate sauce you love, definitely make it, and we're going to be using some of this today. So let's do the very first one. So the very first one, I'm going to keep it simple. I am going to use some wonderful chocolate sauce, simply stir it up, and I kind of like getting that clump, kind of release it first because it always comes to that big clump, and literally just drizzle it on whatever kind of design you want. You could just serve it just like that. Sometimes the most simple things are the most beautiful. Even dishing it up just like that is beautiful. The contrast between the white and the chocolate is breathtaking. Plus the vanilla flavor of the Junket with the beautiful decadent flavor of the chocolate. I mean, you really can't go wrong there. So that's number one. Okay, let's do number two. What I'm going to do is I am going to take some beautiful berries, sprinkle them just like that. No, just a little bit like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is once again, take some of this chocolate sauce. I mean, you can even leave it like this if you like, no problem. Add a little whipped cream if you want. Like, there's so many ways to do this, but I'm just gonna utilize these three awesome toppings here. Once again, I'm just going to do that drizzle, and I'm just gonna kind of drizzle that chocolate on this one side. Once again, take a look. Beautiful. If you had raspberries and you had a little bit of juice, you could drizzle a little juice over it. Oh, absolutely delicious. Okay, let's do number three. So in this case, I'm going to really play on those fresh flavors. I'm going to, once again, grab some hascups. And I'm going to put these onto kind of the one side here. I like putting it on one side because it just really showcases this beautiful Junket setup. There you go. Got those big beautiful berries just like that. Absolutely beautiful. Then what I'm going to do is just set this aside, and you want to just kind of do a rough chop of these peppermint leaves. I know they're so cute, aren't they? I mean, like, it's so small, but just kind of rough them or chop, just kind of chop them up. Freshness of the Junket, the freshness of those berries. Let's just put that right over top. And then once again, let's just sprinkle that fresh, beautiful peppermint. We're just going to omit the chocolate on this one because this is farm fresh. Absolutely everything came off the farm here. We got the milk, we got the beautiful berries, we've got the fresh peppermint, and this is just delicious. Now it's time to enjoy what we made. Now, of course, after making those delicious Junkets, now it's time to show you how it looks on the spoon and absolutely enjoy it. So let's take a look. Beautiful, look at that. Grab a little berries with it. My chocolate loves to set up a little bit, which is just fine. Absolutely delicious looking. Look at that. Now, let's eat it. Okay, this is one of my favorite parts, is eating it. Oh man, this is so refreshing. A beautiful hint of chocolate. You don't want to overdo the chocolate. Just a little bit. That fresh, taste of the hascups. And then you got this beautiful rich dairy, little bit of hints of vanilla. Nothing is overdone and overpowerful, but all together, oh man. It's so good. Absolutely so good. I have to sit here all day and eat this stuff. All right, let's try the peppermint. Once again, I got this fresh peppermint, and you don't want to overdo on the peppermint, just a little bit. Oh, this is so good. Okay, you guys, you have got to make this. Share with me all the different flavor combinations you come up with. You can add orange on here. You can add so much on here. Just remember that in your base, like when you're stirring your Junket and you're adding in their flavors, your spices, your vanilla, you do not want to add anything acidic. So no pineapple or kiwi, even strawberry, raspberry will curdle the milk. So if you blend that up and think you're smart about putting some of that in there. Trust me, I've done it. It doesn't work. You're better off to make that junket and just to have it on top. Absolutely delicious. You can put jams on here, marmalades on top. I mean, you name it, you can do it. Let me know what you come up with. But oh man, you guys have got to try this. So as I sit here enjoying my junket, definitely subscribe to the channel, like it, share it. Make sure you click on that notification bell. Go to our website, everything-homemade.com. If you need those cultures, place that order in, worldwide shipping, and I'm always here to answer questions for you. So also on the website, subscribe to it. I'll let you know of anything new happening. And you know what? And just enjoy the simplicity of dairy. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.